As an entrepreneur, you have a business model. But do you actually know what business model does the world follow to run their economies? No, right? Even I'm clueless. So let's join Mr. Amit Jain, co-founder of Ashika Wealth, a firm which advises family offices above 100 crore for right entry and exit points across all global asset classes. Hi Amit, how are you?
Yeah, hi Janvi, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. So, I'm really excited for today's session and ask me why. Because today's session is not going to be anything cliched about, regular stock market discussion, but it's going to be on a global basis. And why I feel that you're the perfect choice to talk about is on because recently I read your media article which said that the world's economy is following the business model of currency depreciation since 1971.
Yeah.
So, what are your views on this, and how would you like to enlighten this?
All right. So I recently made that statement in media that world economies are facing a business model of currency depreciation.
Right.
Every business and every entrepreneur has their own business model, and all the world economies today follow only one business model. That is depreciate your currency, improve your export, boost your domestic demand, and grow the economy.
Right.
That's a basic model they are working with.
Yeah.
Right. Now, to simplify my statement, I'll divide the world in two phases. A world before 1971.
Right.
That was a world when world has a very limited amount of money. And any economy can print only that amount of currency to the extent of their gold reserves.
Okay.
If they have a gold reserve for example $1 lakh, they can print only $1 lakh, they cannot print more than that.
So it was restricted.
Restricted,
Okay.
before 1971.
Okay.
Then come the second phase of the world economy, which is 1971 and after. In 1971, the US President, Mr. John Nixon, he has removed gold standard from the US dollar.
Okay.
And he said that the US dollar will not be backed up by gold.
Right.
And since then, US dollar become the world reserve currency.
Right.
Right. And since then, if you see, all the asset classes, they start getting into an inflationary mode. Because the governments and the central banks can print any amount of money as and when they feel they need to print money.
Right.
So this was a time when global currencies start losing their purchasing power. And on the contrary, you will find that all asset classes in the world started an inflationary cycle due to excessive money supply.
Okay, so let me interrupt you here.
Yeah.
You just said that we've already lost purchasing power since 1971, but the asset classes are still rising. I think our audience must be a little confused here. So, would you like to elaborate a little on this?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. So, I think we all deal in gold, and at least in Indian and international level, everyone knows about the gold.
Yeah.
So, I'll give you some statistics around the gold prices.
Okay.
So, from 1930s to 1970s, the gold price per ounce in dollar terms was close to $36 an ounce to $38 an ounce.
Right.
In those 40 years, gold price moved only by $2.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
1930s to 1970s I'm talking about.
Right.
From 1970 to 1980, that $40 an ounce gold rate has moved to almost $600 an ounce.
Right. That was a huge
jump. So it was a great appreciation in gold.
Right.
In terms of dollars. But on the contrary, it was a depreciating purchasing power of US dollar because the amount of gold remained the same. In 1970, you used to get 1 ounce of gold at $40. In 1980s, you used to get similar amount, which is 1 ounce of gold at $600. So you have to pay additional dollar. You have to pay almost 15 times more dollar to get the same amount of gold.
Correct.
So this shows a clear reflection of decreasing purchasing power of US dollar.
Yeah, like the amounts are changing, but the quantity is the same.
Same, correct. So it shows the asset class. So gold is an asset class.
Yeah.
It inflated, but the purchasing power of dollar gone down.
Reducing.
Yeah. I'll add to it. So if you see the graph carefully, if you see this purchasing power graph of US dollar, in 1920, in 1930s in fact, it was close to it is close to $20. Okay. And today, in 2020, it is close to $1. Right? So it shows a 95% decline in the purchasing power of US dollar over last 90 years.
Oh.
Or I can say in last 90 years, US dollar is losing its purchasing power continuously. Forget about any increment. It is declining continuously in last 90 years. And this is the trend which is followed by all economies in the world because US dollar is the reserve currency for the world. So when US is following this model, then of course all the economies in the world are following the same model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this makes people feel that they're just getting richer and richer. But do they realize that actually their purchasing power, they're losing on it?
You are absolutely right. That is the beauty about this business model is
Yeah.
that you feel inflated, you
yeah.
feel good that my asset price has gone up multiple times,
Yeah.
but I never realized that I am losing equally my purchasing power on that
Exactly.
line. Yeah, it is. It's the truth about the entire global economy world model.
Right.
Yeah.
So since we've spoken about the world currency, since we're living in India and we're run by the Indian economy, what do you have to say about the Indian currency depreciation?
So I think I'll give you a view. So recently I was looking for a flat in Bandra, a seating flat in Bandra for one of my friend.
Proper.
So when I met a lady there,
Oh.
there was a Parsi lady,
Okay.
right? And I asked, ma'am, when did you buy this flat? She said, I bought it in 1969.
Okay.
I said, what price did you buy that?
Yeah.
She said, I bought it for 19,000 rupees. And today that flat cost 4 crore rupees.
What? That's a huge gap.
Yeah, that's a huge inflation in that asset class.
Exactly.
So I think if you calculate it carefully, it is a return of 16% CAGR over last 51 years.
Okay.
So you got an interest of 16%, but consistent return.
That is fair enough.
That's excellent return.
Yeah.
But this return has two parts to it.
And what
Number
are
one, number one is inflation in that asset class because of demand and supply.
they? Right.
One. Number two, the currency depreciation of India. Because if you go to 1981,
Right.
you can buy $1 at 7 rupees. And today, if you want to buy $1, you have to shell out 75 rupees.
Yeah, it's inflated.
Yeah, right. So Indian currency also depreciated almost by 1000%.
Yeah.
Indian currency also depreciated by
1000%.
1000%, but no one talks about it.
No one
So
knows.
that lady feels good that her 19,000 become 4 crore rupees, but she doesn't realize that how much purchasing power globally she lost over a period of time.
Absolutely right.
Because she could have bought a property in US as well
Yeah.
that period of time because US dollar was available at 7 rupee an INR.
Exactly. But nobody threw that light on it, which you are actually telling now.
Yeah, correct. So this is the model, and it is not specific to India. If you go to any of the economy in the world, whether you go to US or you go to Europe or you go to Japan, you go to China, you go to India, all the economies follow the same model. No one is a differentiator here.
Right.
But people feel that they are getting richer, but actually they are not.
Since you've spoken about the present, I would actually like to know that what is your vision of Indian INR currency in future?
So I think in my view, INR has depreciated enough, which is by 1000% in the last 40 years. But now I think when we are the 5th largest economy in the world, right? We have the 5th largest foreign reserve in the world today. We have a reserve of almost $620 billion.
That's great.
Yeah, that's great, right?
Yeah.
So I think the pace of currency depreciation for India will be much slower from here on, right? So we will not see another 1000% depreciation in India for next 50 years, right? You will find that INR will become one of the strongest currency by 2050.
This is what we are actually looking for, and it's a sigh of relief.
Yeah, so I'll give you a brief on that. If you go to world before 1800, before Britishers came to India, right? India and China were contributing almost 60% of the global GDP.
Wow.
And I think post-COVID, we are going to see that this is going to be a century of Asia. Even in Asia, you will find the century belongs to only two countries, whether India and China, right? And in an era when the world is talking about social distancing from China, it will further benefit India and it will accelerate the pace of India's growth.
Right.
Hence, so we are in the fastest growing economy and will continue to be. So it's a place where it will become a next superpower by 2050. Hence, we will not see that level of depreciation of currency in, or I'll say depreciation in INR, what we have seen in the past, because we are a much more stabilized economy.
Yeah.
We have a robust domestic demand. We have a robust exports, and I think we are going to ride for a long term. And in fact, I will not be surprised if by 2070 or 2080, the INR become the reserve currency of the world.
So that's amazing, Amit. And I think the insights that what you've given is a lot of information today. And I don't think anybody has ever spoken about it. So thank you for enlightening us with this information.
Yeah, thank you, Rani. Thank you.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate that. Thank
Also, just before we take a leave, I would like to introduce a new topic in our next video that we will be talking about, which I don't think ever has again spoken about, which is about that the bull run in global bond market, which started in 1981. You actually think it's going to end?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So we made that statement again in media recently that the bull run, which started in global bond market in 1981,
Yeah.
is going to end sooner.
Yeah.
And I think anyone who is a conservative investor, they need to realign their portfolio to some other asset class. They have to get out of bond and fixed deposits.
Okay.
So of course that will give you a view in the next video.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate it. Thank you.